How happy would you be if you never had to pay for gas or groceries ever again? Here's your chance. 2 winners each will receive free gas and groceries for a lifetime in the Gas and Groceries for Life raffle, presented by Thomas J. Henry. Free gas, free groceries, 2 winners. All net proceeds benefit elementary school children and local food banks. So get rolling, hit the gas, and purchase your raffle tickets at gasandgroceриesforlife.com today.
Pickle, it's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score some award-winning Hondas, just like the rugged and reliable 2023 Ridgeline. Stop by your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit ntxhondadealers.com to learn more. Rugged and reliable.
Rugged and reliable, that's what they call us. And they call the Ridgeline. Thanks, Honda. It's Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. If you got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, anything you got, get them in on the comments, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll get to as many as we can. Last night in the playoffs, there were 131 games. I would say for the most part, usually when you play a Thursday night high school football playoff game in the first round, you're pretty sure you're going to cruise. Some of them at least, most of them. Mm-hmm. Like Galena Park North Shore. I watched about 5 minutes of their game against Who did North Shore play?
I don't remember.
They won. They were up considerably. North Shore played Pasadena Dobie, and they cruised.
Refugio, absolutely.
Refugio dominated Ben Bolt.
That was bad.
A lot of these teams just went out there and really kind of swatted away their first-round opponent, right? That's not necessarily a surprise what we saw. There were a couple of storylines that I think are worth bringing up. Mm-hmm. We had 8 4 seeds beat 1 seeds. 8 of them. The headliner of which I would probably say was Big Spring beating El Paso Riverside. Because we thought El Paso Riverside was maybe a sleeper there. Big Spring shoos them away first round of the playoffs. Great win for Big Spring. A couple of other results that caught my mind. The game of the night was on Texan Live, Katie Tompkins and Fort Bend Ridgepoint. Mm-hmm. Fort Bend Ridgepoint wins in double overtime. They stop the 2-point conversion, and then they score, and then they go for their own, and they get it, and they get a walk-off 2-point conversion win to knock off Katie Tompkins. Fantastic matchup. It was Ridgepoint had to drive down late to score to tie it, and then we got a fantastic double overtime finish. So Ridgepoint is through.
That was one of 5 games that were decided on last night by 2 points or fewer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Ridgepoint, then DeKalb and Edgewood, Axel and Rosebud Lot, Sonora and Olney, Sterling City, and Miles. And then I guess technically there were 2 more because Gunner and Wall both had forfeits, but those are forfeits. But actual games that were played.
Wow. Yeah, we had some bangers.
I tweeted that out.
Well done.
Well, I put 2 points or less, so I just got blown up that I didn't put fewer. But the information was there.
Don't actually a tweet. Anyway. So it was an exciting night of action around there. Civil Steel looked great in their win over San Antonio Johnson. DeSoto farted around against Pflugerville Weiss. Little red flaggy. They pulled away, but that's a little red flaggy to me. Congratulations to Erie County. Yeah. Erie County knocks off May in a wild one. Let me see if I can find a final real quick. But I know they had more than
104 to 98, I believe.
Was that the final?
I believe.
I'm gonna pull up. I need to pull up the scoreboard anyway. But they were that game was wild back and forth. May had like a 2-score lead at one point. Erie County comes back, knocks off the 2-time. I guess if you want to call it like 2-time defending state runner-up, right in May. But more importantly, they won 104-91 was the final. And let me tell you something. That is Erie County's first playoff win since 1971. They haven't had a playoff win since 1971, and it comes in a big way. Congratulations to them. Spring Lake Earth beats Spur, which I think was a pretty nice win there for Spring Lake Earth. Abbott rolls past Milford. Blum beat Aquila. I told you guys to keep an eye on Blum.
Blum's back up.
That's a team that's I think really playing well. We had a state-ranked team go down. Rising Star lost to Blackwell, which was a little bit of a surprise. I'm just kind of scrolling through here. Sterling City gets their first playoff win as a 11-man program in a while with that win over Miles. Congratulations to them.
Well, have we even mentioned Galveston Ball?
There was that. Galveston Ball. Magnolia West beats Galveston Ball 17-7. So Galveston Ball gets the dreaded 10-1. Galveston Ball gave up 31 points in 11 games, and they're done.
Yep. Yeah, we had that game. We watched Trevor Bullard call that game last night for a good portion of it, and it was like, what happened?
Yeah. Let's see. Munster beats Archer City. I told you Munster's better than their record indicates. Keep an eye on them. What else am I looking at? I'm just kind of scrolling through the scores. I looked at these last night, but I want to get reminded by these. Hawley rolls past Cristobal. They dominated from stem to stern in that game.
That Sonora-only game was wild.
Both Stratford and Cisco won their first-round matchups, which means we get Stratford versus Cisco in the second round, which is going to be tasty. Elsewhere, Rogers over Van Vleck is a nice win there. DeKalb gets that win over Edgewood. Edgewood was certainly had stomach for the fight. Canadian roll past Lubbock Roosevelt, so we will have, not surprising, but we will have a new regional state semifinalist. Lubbock Roosevelt loses to Canadian in emphatic fashion, but that's not necessarily a surprise considering the trajectory of these two programs.
I will pull out a hot take that I think that give it like 2 years and we're going to see another resurgence of Lubbock Roosevelt because they just keep going sophomore class after sophomore class.
Let me throw this out there. Dalhart beats Denver City. I'm fairly certain that's a 4-1 as well. West was up on Mahia 7-0 at half. They only won 21-0. Little red flaggy there. Franklin rolled past Hallettsville 33-7.
That one was a little.
It was a little in doubt, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like it was. I want to say it was like 20. I want to say it was like 26-0 at half or something. Something like that. Carthage rolled past Pittsburgh. Did you see the video that I retweeted?
Yes, of Surratt's freshman son dropping an absolute dime.
Jet Surratt, the freshman, got some run, and he threw his first touchdown pass. How about Canyon West Plains? They were favorites over Pecos, but they still picked up their first ever playoff win. Congratulations to them. How about Gerald? Gerald takes down Devine 32-14 in a game that was not a fluke. Gerald kind of dominated that game stem to stern. Congratulations to the Cougars on their win. Elsewhere, Lumberton gets past Palestine. I thought that was upset watch, but I do think Lumberton is a dangerous foe there in Region 3 there. Chapel Hill got their win over Livingston 45-36. That game was not as close as the score would indicate. So there's that. Elsewhere, what else am I looking at?
New Boston took down Grand Saline.
New Boston beat Grand Saline. Your boys, Gregory Portland, got a win over our beloved Mission Veterans Memorial. I don't know how you sleep at night thinking with that. Good win for Grapevine over a pesky Lake Dallas team that I thought was better than their record indicated. Good win for them. Fort Bend Marshall whomped Huntsville. That's my official word for Fort Bend Marshall is whomp. They whomp people.
It was that game we were monitoring that game last night and we looked down and we're going, oh, okay, well they kind of scored early, and then I looked down like what felt like 5 minutes later and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they were very, very impressive. They turned it on there. Corpus Christi Miller and Corpus Christi Vets both dominated their first round matchups. We'll have to wait to see if PSJA North and Edinburgh Vela win, but that would set up those really big Region 4 matchups. Aledo pushed past Killeen Shoemaker 37-0. That was a tricky first-round matchup for Aledo, so much more notable than past first-round matchups for Aledo, I would say.
Most of their district games.
Yeah, Frisco Reedy beat WT White, which is not a surprise, but they are now 11-0. As I mentioned, I was very impressed by Cibolo Steel, their win over Johnson. Cy-Fair, I've been telling y'all, Cy-Fair's dangerous. They take down Houston Westside in a big way. South Lake Carroll rolled past Crowley. Judson, good for Judson, got a big win over San Antonio Churchill. That was a real like kind of like rivalry matchup between those two teams, but they get the win. And yeah, Midland Legacy gets the win over El Paso Franklin. And Midland Legacy's a sleeper, I think they're in 6A Division 1. Anyway,
we're going through like a monsoon out here right now. It's raining so hard.
It's raining sideways, folks. So there you go. There's a quick Thursday night recap of the Texas High School Football Playoff action. Let's go to your questions. Questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, all those things. Let's get to it. Has anybody asked any questions, Pickle?
Yes.
I'm going to point at the camera like that. Oh, it's like 3D.
This is okay. Thoughts on Deer Park versus Atascocita?
Well, I'll tell you who I think is the favorite.
Win. Yeah.
Atascocita looks like they're on a bit of a kind of a revenge tour, and they want to have that rematch with Galena Park North Shore. Now, I will say this. Their past couple of games, admittedly against North Shore and Summer Creek, have not been offensively what you would like to see. Offensively, they've struggled. Now, Deer Park, their defense has been fantastic. And this is a 9-1 Deer Park team, by the way. Their only loss is a one-score loss to Channel View. This is a good Deer Park team that if Atascocita, and by the way, they're on the road at Deer Park. Crazy to think. if they screw around and that offense is struggling, Deer Park can get them.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a pretty sizable upset. The computers got them as 30-point favorites. But
we almost kind of saw, like, we've seen it happen, and yes, that was against North Shore, which is different, but that offense was basically non-existent in that North Shore game. Like, and I don't really think it was North Shore just way outplaying them. I think it was just the offense doesn't show up from time to time.
Sometimes, I'm still a young offense, got a lot of young pieces there, so the question is going to be, can the Atascocita offense get going? If the Atascocita offense gets going, I have no doubt, I'm very certain they're going to win. But Deer Park is good enough to beat them. They're not 9-1. They're not some fluky 9-1 team. I think they are a pretty decent team. So if you are Atascocita, you need to be on alert here, especially traveling to Deer Stadium. So, or Absher Stadium rather. What's next?
Deer Stadium.
Absher Stadium.
I like Deer Stadium better. We're gonna change the name.
Deer Park Deer. They're one of the few. I need to make a list of the mascots that don't end in S.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
wow, I never even thought about that.
Shirt today, which doesn't end in S. Shout out to Fighting Illini.
I like it.
But
they got beat by Michigan State.
What's next, Pickle?
Shout out Mallory.
Shout out my dad.
This one, actually, I agree. I think this will be a good one. San Antonio, Reagan, and New Braunfels tonight. That's a tasty first round matchup.
Tasty. This is a Reagan team that I'm really high on.
I feel like Reagan we've kept in our mouth a lot more. New Braunfels had that first win against Denton Ryan, and then we just kind of didn't talk about him near as much anymore.
So Reagan has 2 losses on the year. Their losses are to Smithson Valley by 1 at the Alamo Dome.
I saw that game.
And then they lost to Round Rock, which has aged pretty well, right? I like this Reagan team, and especially I think that their defense has really, really tightened up since then, and that's going to give them a great shot in this game. For New Braunfels, they were kind of the opposite in the fact that they started really hot, and then since then they've kind of faded. They lost to New Braunfels Canyon, they lost to Pflugerville Weiss, and then they lost to Cibolo Steel. Now, those are 3 pretty good teams. I think Pflugerville Weiss is probably the worst of those 3 teams, but 3 pretty good teams. I think this game is a 1-score game. I think the fact it's at Comalander is an advantage there for Reagan. But I think this is going to be a fascinating ball game that it kind of depends on what New Braunfels defense shows up.
Yes.
Because this is a New Braunfels defense that when they're good, they win ball games, and when they're not, they don't. Like, plain and simple. And this is a Reagan offense that I think is going to be able to challenge them. Especially, they've got a pair of sophomores. That running back Cole Pryor has been great, and then Capuccio.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Caleb Capuccio. He's really solid. Like, they don't ask him to do a ton, but he's really solid. And so
they have, I can tell you right now, they have, and we saw this in that week 1 loss to Smithson Valley. It was just the fact that they weren't consistently moving the ball. But when you want to talk about a team that has big playability, and if you give them a hole, they will absolutely break it. That's what Reagan does.
Yeah. So
they rely on big play.
Keep an eye on this one. I picked Reagan. I'm going to roll with Reagan, but this is a 1-score game in my opinion, and I think it's going to be a fun one. What's next, Pickle?
9-1 Permian versus 9-1 Pebble Hills. Who you got?
Yeah.
That's a fun one out in West Texas. I would think Permian.
Permian's the favorite, but they are on the road. They're at Socorro ISD. And
yeah, they're at the SAC.
That is not a fun road trip. And
it's not a fun place to play either.
And let me tell you something, okay? So let me start with this. Here's a positioning statement. I picked Permian. Permian's my pick. I picked Permian. Permian's my pick. Okay? Let me tell you why I think this is dangerous for them. A, long road trip. Now, they're used to long road trips, but going to El Paso, I think, is going to be a challenge. Okay? That's part of it. Secondly, their defense, especially lately.
They're vulnerable. That was hard for me to say.
Especially lately. And you're talking about an offense there with Pebble Hills that can go. Gail Ochoa, their quarterback, has been really, really solid. And they've got a pair of receivers. I want to say they've been up for Player of the Week. Jaleel Boast, and then the other one's Marcus Torres. They've been solid, and they are a dangerous offense. If the Permian defense doesn't get off the bus, like, they're going to be down 14-0, 17-0 quick. Because this Pebble Hills offense can go. Permian's, I think, your favorite, or rightful favorite. But I've got questions about what happens when the Pebble Hills offense has the ball, because I think that is a dangerous, dangerous spot. Again, I think it's a 1-score game. And if Permian's not ready, this is enough. I think Pebble Hills is the best team in El Paso.
Okay.
Canutillo
In that
won
class,
last
I was
night.
going to say in that classification,
6A,
yes.
yes.
I think
Canutillo won last night, so maybe it's Canutillo.
I think Canutillo's been a little bit more dominant, but Pebble Hills does have an opportunity.
Yeah. But anyway, I think this is a dangerous spot here for Permian. If they're not ready, Pebble Hills is absolutely good enough to beat them.
Well, and that's the other thing is I feel like Permian is used to being a lot bigger, like literally physically bigger than most teams they play, and also especially El Paso teams. But I don't think that they run into that issue as much with Pebble Hills. Pebble Hills has some big dudes on their like on their lines.
I think that's right. Anyway,
as your mom would say, beefy.
Yes, beefy. What's next, Pickle?
Up next, all right, I haven't read through this one, so hang with me here. Do you think it's possible for a 5A Division I District 10 team to come out of Region 3?
10-5-81. Yeah, so last night, so we talked a little bit about Galveston Ball losing to Magnolia West, right? We talked a little bit about that. That was kind of, that's a 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
My beloved Golden Tornadoes, I love them, but they hadn't played anyone.
No.
Okay, they were putting up these crazy numbers, but they hadn't necessarily played anybody. That is so it's a 4-1, but it's not necessarily shocking. In fact, we put it on Upset Watch. Ish put it on his Upset Watch pick on TexasFootball.com. We talked about it on Tep and Step about how that was a potential first round upset. I think the short list of contenders in Region 4, at least 2 of them are from District 10, right? At least 2 of them. So here are the teams that I think can win Region 4, right? Angleton can win Region 4, or Region 3, I should say.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
College Station can win Region 3. Now, they'll probably play in the second round.
College Station can win Region 3 if they don't fart around in the first half.
A&M Consolidated could still win Region 3. Smithson Valley is kind of a hot pick to win Region 3. I have trouble putting Manville on this list. I think they're too inconsistent.
I think Manville is a year away from being a good they are very young.
Manville is very young. On that list is Fulshire.
That was my pick.
Fulshire is dangerous, and they've won. I thought that they were kind of a one-trick pony in the sense that I thought that Fulshire was a team that can outscore you, but like if it gets to be like a defensive game, there's no way they can.
And then they won 9-7.
Yeah, they won
I can't remember who it was
they
against.
were like, oh, you want to see some defense, huh, Tepper? And then they won some game 9-7. Yeah, I think they absolutely can.
I picked Fulshire. On my prediction graphics, I took Fulshire.
I think I took Smithson Valley. I think they're the best team in that region, but I think they're absolutely in the mix. And I think they've got. I think
Manville. They beat Manville 9-7. That's what it was.
I think they've got a great shot at. I think District 10's got a great shot at getting a team through to the state semifinals. Really and truly. What's next, Pickle? In fact, I tweeted this out. I'm sorry to interrupt. I tweeted this out last night earlier this week that the best team, according to the computer rankings, the best team in 5A Division 1 to miss the playoffs was Richmond Foster.
And he mentioned that I didn't get to in the thing. He did mention that he was like Foster got left out.
Yeah, Foster's a good team. Foster's a top 30 team, maybe top 40 team in 5A D1, and they missed the playoffs because they were in such a tough district. So, and they didn't help themselves, but that's
right.
What's next, Pickle?
Let's talk about one of the headliners for tonight, undoubtedly. Lorena and Columbus, 3A Division 1, Region 3.
Are they playing?
Many people are saying. The reports. I've sources. Sources are saying they will play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating first-round matchup. And this is what happens.
That whole region.
Well, this is the showcase of the 10 versus 11, right? 11 versus 12, I should say.
Yes.
11 versus 12.
Because you had Franklin and Hallettsville last night.
Franklin took care of them. I think you've got Yoakum and Yo, I want to say.
Yes, which is underrated.
You got Yoakum and Yo, which Yoakum's playing good ball right now.
And Yo has been on a
Bo
heater.
Robinson gets his boys up, and they if you want to throw upset watch out there, I'll throw upset watch out there for Yoakum. I'm sorry, for Yo. They're going to be underdogs. They're going to be favorites over Yoakum tonight, but Yoakum's dangerous. And the other one of those three is Franklin, Hitchcock and Little River Academy. That is 1 in a 4, and let me tell you, Academy's dangerous.
That that game hurts my heartstrings because you have my beloved Hitchcock and you have Swole Bees, and the fact that someone's got to lose is not okay with me.
I know, it's tough. But on to Columbus and Lorena. This is finally the big test for Lorena playing great defense in a game that matters. Okay, because they haven't necessarily done it. Okay. Last year, for all we talked about that fun offense, their defense was their calling card. That's what won them a state championship. What won them a state championship was the fact that their defense made plays. But they gave up 48 to Cameron Yo. They gave up 38 to China Spring. They gave up 49 to Franklin. Now, those are great teams, but Columbus is a great team. I don't know if Columbus has the same kind of firepower that those three teams have, but they're pretty good. Mm-hmm. Adam Schobel and company. And by the way, their defense is clearly better than in my opinion, than Lorena's. So this is about Lorena's defense tonight. I think the clock has run out on their ability to win shootouts. Okay? I do not think that they can go out there and just outscore people. It's got to be their defense that steps up. Mm-hmm. And in their losses this year, their defense has not been great. Their defense has to be great tonight in Pflugerville to get a win. I like Columbus. Lorena's got that guy. They got Jaden Porter. Mm-hmm. And, if you just throw it up to him, call a touchdown play.
That one's going to be so fun.
But it's a great game. It's a fascinating matchup. The onus is on the Lorena defense. That's very clearly where it's at. What's next, Pickle?
Do you think... What other 4 seeds do you think are likely to beat 1 seeds tonight?
We talked about one of them. Little River Academy and Hitchcock has a great shot at that, right? They've got a really good shot at that. Let me scroll through the brackets real quick and see if I can find another one that they're really. I mean, we saw, like I said, Dalhart over we saw a fair number of them last night. I'm trying to look at these. We had another one. Gerald over Divine was one, which is that's a 4 over 1. I'll throw one out there, and maybe this is a little bit off the board, but no, I don't want to do that.
Glen Rose and Graham.
Graham's dangerous, but I think Glen Rose's offense is just off the charts good, and that's going to be that's going to be a big challenge for them. I know, and this is I'm gonna get some hell from Matt Stepp about this because I know this was his district pick. I think Pampa can beat Decatur.
Yeah.
I think Pampa is a dangerous team that's playing good ball right now.
Ooh.
Yes, you got one?
Yep, Belleville and West Orange Stark.
Oh yeah, sound alarm bells for that.
Let's go! I found it. I did it.
Because West Orange Stark, that's a great one. Because West Orange Stark, this is their time. This is when they turn it on. And so now West Orange Stark has had a disappointing year. I don't think Hiawatha Hickman would say anything other than that. But they are in a very, very difficult. That was a very difficult district that they went through, and I think that they've got an opportunity to really make some noise. Let me see if I can find one more here. But let me see.
Stratford and Sundown was last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, Stratford. Step with that. Stratford dominated.
Dominated. Okay.
So that was one that I don't think is one. Let me throw one more out there, and I'm gonna go to 2AD1. God, pull up your brackets, ding dong. 2AD1. I think that. No, never mind. Oh wait, what's the other one? Hold on a second. Hold on, District 15. 15 or 16.
I mean, this is crazy.
I think Ganado can beat La Villa.
Yeah.
Ganado can beat La Villa.
What about Sauk and Mansfield Summit?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked.
South Oak Cliff's a super high variance team. Mm-hmm. That when they play to their paper, they're going to be really, really dangerous. And I know that they are worried about Summit because Summit poses some athletic threats that I think can challenge that defense. But I think that in the end, South Oak Cliff defense, I think, is a difference. That's a possibility. That's not a bad one. Yeah, those are the ones that I'll wrap it up there. Those are the ones that I think could get them. So, what's next, Pickle?
Let's go with, what do you think about Abilene's win over El Paso Del Valle last night?
About what I expected. it's strange to say that, but like, I think Abilene. I think I picked Del Valle, but I do think that Abilene is a team that, when they play well, which is a weird thing to say, but when they play well, they are capable of beating anybody. This was a fourth-place Abilene team, I want to say. Fourth or third, one of them. They were in a tiebreak. Did they beat Amarillo? No, they lost them. So they were a fourth-place team. That's 4-1. Abilene, when they play to their paper, is a really good ball club. I think the thing that surprised me was how they dominated them, was how they went out there and their offense really took flight. The fact that their defense played well is, in my opinion, not a surprise. I think their defense has been playing well for about a month. They've been playing really, really good ball. I also think that the open date helped them. They had a Week 11 open date, and I think that really helped Mike Fullen's ball club. They're going to be underdogs this next week up against either Red Oak or Ryan. But the fact that they were able to wake up and that defense played really well and then the offense kind of took off from there, that's awfully impressive from Mike Fullen's club. An upset but not a shock is how I would classify it. The shock there is how much they dominated, because they won by like 28 or something like that. They were the dominant factor in that game. So great win for Abilene. Really, really impressive. And another 4-1. So what's next, Mademoiselle Pickle?
Ryan Smiga asked who wins against his next week. He said who wins against his alma mater and Goliad and the Llano Yellow Jackets.
Well, why don't we go to our chief?
So both teams absolutely took care of business last night. Here
comes the homer pick.
And here's my positioning statement.
Here comes the homer pick.
I think I'm willing to hear that Edna is the second best team. Maybe they are the first best team in that region. I think Llano has proven that they are the best team, or at least should be the favorite in that region. But the way that they got is they are having penalty issues like crazy. In their past couple of games, they've gotten really, really dicey on just not playing super clean football. They do have a common opponent in San Antonio. Cole Goliad beat them 49-0, and Llano beat them 59-0. So take that what you will.
That's an 0-10 team. That's a matter of how long you keep your starters.
Exactly.
I take nothing from that.
Okay. Go ahead.
No. I'm waiting
Go
for
ahead.
you. I'm waiting for you. You finish your thought.
I think Llano should have their way with Goliad, but
Who?
I do.
Okay.
But I think that if they shoot themselves in the foot, Goliad is a team that will stick around. They have a high-flying offense. They can score points. So if you let them stick around by shooting yourself in the foot, that's where you get got.
Okay. I think it's a one-score game.
Really?
I think it's a one-score game. I think this is the best defense Llano has seen all season.
But I don't think that they've really anyone that they've played that's worth something they've lost to.
I totally disagree. Goliad.
They have a good win over London. I'll give them that.
They have a win over Jourdanton. They have a win over Jourdanton in non-district. That's a 10-1 Jourdanton team.
Yeah.
They have a win over Tidehaven. That's a 9-2 Tidehaven team that's now into the second round. That's a district champion Tidehaven team. This is the best defense that Llano has seen probably since... Who's the best defense Llano's seen? Look at this. Since Randolph.
Yeah.
And Randolph held them to 21 points. This is a one-score game. I'm telling you right now, I think Llano wins. But this is a real test. I think Goliad's for real. And their defense is for real. Their defense is allowing, at the moment, let me pull this up. Their defense is allowing 10 points a game. I think this is a one-score game. I'm telling you. I'm not trying to scare people in Llano County, but like Goliad's good. That's not an indictment on Llano. I think Llano's an excellent ball club, and I think they're going to be in a regional final. I think they're going to win the game. But you overlook Goliad at your own peril. I think this team is legit. So, anyway, that's my thought on it.
I'll be excited to watch it.
It'll be a great game. You should try to get it on Texan Live.
That's not a bad idea.
What's next, Pickle?
Thoughts on Canyon and Georgetown tonight? That's New Braunfels Canyon.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. You freaked me out there for a second. I was like, there's no way that Canyon in the Panhandle has a game against George. Like
First off, there's classification issues. Second off,
there's short-circuited.
I know.
I
saw
watched it in the live like a lot of this comes down to like which Georgetown shows up. And specifically like which Georgetown defense shows up. Because like Georgetown, when their defense shows up, is really good, and Georgetown, when their defense doesn't show up, is not good.
They can put points on the board.
They can score. There's no doubting that Georgetown can score. But this is a New Braunfels Canyon team that I do think is flying a little bit under the radar. Their one loss in the year is to Smithson Valley. I think I'm taking Georgetown. I don't feel good about them going on the road, though. I think it was a coin flippy type game. I like Georgetown's offense a little bit more, and I think that's going to be the difference. I think Georgetown gets a narrow win, but this is a coin flippy, and I think this is again another the theme of today. I think it's a 1-score game. I think they're dangerous. I think this is a really, really fun matchup, and a good litmus test on 11 versus 12, like District 11 versus District 12 and 5AD1. So yeah, this is a fascinating matchup. What's next, Pickle? Let's do. Oh, we get some time.
Thoughts on Garrison, Corrigan, Camden?
Corrigan, Camden. Let me tell you,
They handed it to him last week.
I love Corrigan, Camden. I love Corrigan, Camden. My beloved Bulldogs. They were, if you remember, I did an interview out in East Texas before the year, and they asked me like, who's a sleeper in our area, and I told them like, I think Corrigan Camden's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
They've made me look like I know what I'm talking about, which is hard to do. So thank you to Corrigan Camden. Thank you to Brett Ratliff and company.
Fun fact: other than the loss to Centerville, they blanked every single person in their district.
Oh no, their defense was awesome.
And then somehow they gave up 56 points to Centerville.
Now, I am very leery of the trend lines in this game from my beloved Corrigan Camden Bulldogs, because Garrison is coming off of taking Timpson to the wire, taking Timpson to the final minutes of the game, and Corrigan Camden is coming off of getting their doors blown off by Centerville. That to me would lend me to like Garrison. I think they're playing better right now, and that is problematic, I think, for Corrigan Camden.
Corrigan Camden also could bounce back.
They could bounce
back. That's the other side of it. They could be really upset with how that went last week.
It goes one of two ways. Right now, the trend lines, in my opinion, favor Garrison, and I would go with the Bulldogs, those Bulldogs, over the Corrigan Camden Bulldogs. It'll be a dogfight no matter what.
God. All right, we have 3 more, and then you're cut off. What team with a losing record could make it to Thanksgiving weekend? Brock doesn't have a losing record.
Let me be a real jerk for a moment and say, well, he wouldn't have a losing record then. You're talking going into the playoffs with a losing record. Okay, that's fine. I think it would probably be like a 6A or a 5A team, in my opinion. Let me see if I can find one that I like. That's tough, because honestly, we didn't have a ton of teams with a losing record get in. Mm-hmm. Actually, I got one. Right off the rip. I got one. I think Euless Trinity can make it to Thanksgiving weekend.
Wow.
They got Keller tonight, and that's tough. Mm-hmm. That's tough. If they get past Keller, they get Midland Legacy, and that's tough. But DFW has usually had the number of the teams from the Permian Basin, right? At that point, you're at Thanksgiving. They're 4-6 right now. I think Trinity is a team that's playing their best football at the moment, and that's a team that could get there.
Do you know, would they coin flip that game?
Actually, I don't know.
The Midland Legacy one, because if I'll counteract you there, if they had to go out to Midland to play or travel even further, that might make a little bit of a difference in that one.
That's a big deal.
Because usually Trinity would be the host site, I would say, almost regardless.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I'm trying to think, because the other thing is I'm trying to find these teams that, like, for example, I like Converse Judson, but I think that they're going to be huge underdogs against Vandergrift next week.
Yep.
So it's like that's a team with a losing record that I think may be playing some good football right now, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to get there. Does 500 count?
Sure.
Let me make sure I'm not putting my phone in my mouth. Hold on. You're watching live coverage of me switching between a couple of different things. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying, Jennifer. Okay. Yeah. It's D1, right?
You're doing great.
This is going great. I'm loving everything about this. Yeah.
This better be a fire pick.
I think Amarillo can do it.
The Sandies.
Amarillo's got El Paso Parkland tonight. I think they're going to be favored in that. And then they're going to get the winner of Midlothian and Justin Northwest. And those are good teams, but I do not know if they're world beater teams.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm quite sold on either of those teams. So
all right.
that is a team that I think with a 500 record that I think could get there. There you go. You made me scramble and think of something. I think we got 2 more. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pecan pie or pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin pie, but I love both. Got to have to me, pecan pie is optional. Pumpkin pie is necessary. That's how I view it. I want both. The answer is yes, but like for example, our Thanksgiving we have a sign-up sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. And right now nobody signed up for pumpkin pie, and my wife told me that last night, and I told her, okay, then I will go get a pumpkin pie. Mm-hmm. Like we are having pumpkin pie.
So but you go get one. You gotta make it.
I'm making enough stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
That is to me, and especially if somebody doesn't care enough about it to go get it, then like I just need my fix.
Okay, here's the
fiending.
Here's the other thing though, and I'll agree with you there. I don't eat a lot of either, to be honest. I'm not a huge sweet person, obviously.
Yeah, we know.
But what I will say is, it is in my mind a little bit more difficult to tell the difference between a store-bought pumpkin pie and a homemade pumpkin pie. I feel like I could I could absolutely look at a pecan pie and said that's homemade or that's store-bought.
That is to me the biggest. I think you're right.
So that's why I like pecan pie more, because I think that pecan pie is a little bit harder to perfect. I think
agree.
Pumpkin pie is pretty standard throughout.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, and we have the same answer on this. I will be
just
shocked if we don't. What is the best Thanksgiving side?
We're Team GBC around here.
Let's go! If there's one thing I know, we Hill we will both die on. Green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole is king.
Is king.
Green bean casserole is clearly
that's the number one draft pick every single year.
Every year.
Whoever gets the first draft pick takes
GBC.
And
here's
unless you're Will Wilkerson and he says cream corn, which still blows my mind.
He's a bad person. But here's the other thing about that. Okay. The other thing for me is, and I'm a little shocked by this. It is a little weird that we don't make it year round, because it's great at all times. But the question is why don't we just make it all the time?
And I think that because we've talked about this before, I think that I love it being a special thing so much that I'm not willing to give that up. Because you're right. That's an easy side to make.
It is.
For any Wednesday night dinner. But it would ruin the significance of it.
That's fair. The work, what is remarkable about green bean casserole.
So good, no effort.
Is that the work to benefit ratio is easily the best of any of any Thanksgiving thing.
Of any Texas high school football.
of any Thanksgiving thing.
Yes.
Like turkey, I love turkey. You know I love turkey. But that takes work.
It's work.
It's work. Like even mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes work.
There's a lot of steps to it. Green bean casserole,
you a lot of work.
Dump everything, bake it, done.
Absolutely. So
delicious 900% of the time.
Correct. Totally agree. So yeah, I am very
I'm getting excited now.
Oh, I know. You should be. You should be getting excited because we are a mere weeks away, days away.
Let's go.
The best day of the year.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.